What does putting on that jersey with the stars and the stripes mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world to me. Obviously, not many people get to do to play for Team USA or to play for their country. So it's something that I'll never take for granted. Always thankful to have this opportunity and just try to make the most of it.
Welcome back to another episode of Tradin Jabs. Joining me to talk about his sophomore season at the University of Minnesota and the upcoming World Junior Championships is Kings 2020 second-round draft pick and soon-to-be two-time representative of Team USA at the WJCs, Brock Faber. Brock, thanks for joining the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, we're just a few days away from the start of World Juniors, but you're up in Red Deer, or are you in Edmonton for the start of the tournament? Awesome. Well, you're up in Red Deer, but before we get into that, I want to go back to your younger years of growing up in Minnesota. And, as many people know, Minnesota is obviously a mecca of hockey in the United States and immensely deep and talented. When did you kind of, start to realize that you weren't just, your average player?
Yeah, obviously I played hockey my whole life. It was kind of a staple growing up in Minnesota. There's a backyard rink basically everywhere you look. So I played my whole life, and it was kind of like freshman year of high school is when I really started to realize that this was a sport for me. This is a sport that I love, and I would say growing up, obviously played it my whole life, but freshman year is kind of the turning point to when I started taking it pretty seriously. So.
Yeah, well, you played your freshman year in Minnesota, you go to the United States Development Program, and you come back to the University of Minnesota. Obviously, we Minnesotans are kind of ingrained to look at college hockey as that next step forward after our high school years. You chose to come back to Minnesota. What benefits do you think college hockey has helped you grow, not only to develop into a player that's become so independent in the upcoming World Juniors, but just in terms of growth for your career as well?
Yeah, I think obviously college hockey is a huge thing. It's a dream of a lot of players around the world, and it's super competitive too. Obviously there's unbelievable players that play college hockey, and definitely has always been a dream of mine playing for the Gophers. I grew up watching them. I always had the Gopher jerseys in my closet. Always went to the games with my parents. But it's definitely a huge stepping stone, huge milestone to get to this point, and definitely huge for my development as well, playing college hockey. So.
Yeah, I mean, my parents had season tickets to the Gopher games growing up, and we know how important it is to put that Gopher uniform on. When you're born in Minnesota as well. But you're a freshman last year. You go to the World Juniors. You have a breakout tournament. You come back for your sophomore season. You're averaging about a half a point a game, which is obviously phenomenal for a defenseman, a two-way defenseman at that as well. That freshman to sophomore year, it tends to be a big step forward in defensemen's games. How do you feel that you've grown from your freshman to sophomore year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just a lot more confidence. Freshman year, you kind of go in, it's a lot of older guys, not really knowing what you're getting yourself into a little bit. But now sophomore year, I feel a lot more confident. This time of year, I feel like I can kind of just have a lot more fun with the game, when last year was kind of I was gripping my stick a little tight. But definitely sophomore year, it's been a big step. It's obviously I've come a long way, but it's a lot more confidence, I'd say, is the one thing that sticks out. So.
Yeah, well, we're 4 days away now from the start of the World Junior Championships. You played there last year, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think, growing up in hockey, obviously being from Minnesota, we know how important the World Junior Championships is, obviously to ourselves, but just north of the border as well. But what was your first memory of the World Juniors?
That's a tough one. Obviously, I grew up watching it my whole life. I grew up watching Team USA, but something that really sticks out is when Coach Motzko won. In Montreal, I believe it was. That was obviously pretty special, just with the crowd and the atmosphere. And them beating Canada was special. And, that's the one thing that I'd say that really sticks out to me the most, obviously now that he's my coach too. So yeah, but like I said, grew up watching my whole life, plenty of memories though, for sure.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned Bob Motzko's your head coach. You go into the World Junior Championships. What kind of advice did he give you maybe last year as you prepared, and even this year as well?
Yeah, last year, and this year, it's kind of just he just set me off and told me to enjoy the ride. Obviously it's a lot of high pressure hockey, a lot of high pressure situations, but he said you're gonna look back on it and wish you really kind of took it all in when you were in the tournament. So he just said enjoy it. Obviously, like I said, quick tournament, lots of quick turnarounds, lots of good hockey players. And it's just about playing your game, finding your game early and sticking with it, I guess. So just one thing is just he told me to soak it all in, just to take it all in, have fun with it. So
yeah, well, you had the fortune of wearing that red, white, and blue in the Team USA jersey for 2 years at the National Development Program in Ann Arbor. This is your second time around in the World Juniors. What does putting on that jersey with the stars and the stripes mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world to me. Obviously, not many people get to do to play for Team USA or to play for their country. So it's something that I'll never take for granted. Always thankful to have this opportunity and just try to make the most of it.
Well, let's go back to last year. A crazy tournament in itself. Obviously, the storylines were heavily ridden by the first round draft picks in Team Canada and how stacked they were. From the Team USA standpoint, as a group last year, what was maybe your mindset going into the tournament, and then what was your mindset going into that gold medal game?
Yeah, going into the tournament, we were just focused on us. Not any of the outside noise. Obviously, you said it. Canada had a lot of first rounders, and they were a great team. There was a lot of great players and great teams in that tournament. And then before the gold medal game, it was kind of just the same thing. We were just focused on us, focused on playing our game, and like I said, not any of the outside noise. And obviously, it worked out for us. So.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. One of the cool things I think that I go back to remembering about the World Junior Championships is the 2010 Team USA chant in the locker room. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and YouTube the World Junior chant from Team USA. You had an opportunity to remake that chant after you guys won the gold medal. How surreal was that opportunity?
Yeah, it's special. It's hard to describe the feeling that it gives me thinking about. But obviously, like I said, growing up watching this tournament, it was always wanting to throw that jersey on, but wanting to hear that national anthem at the end of the game and to yell that chant in the locker room. It was special. A dream come true for sure.
Well, you're now a part of a handful of returning Team USA players. In terms of leadership or communication with some of the new guys, advice, whatever it may be, how much does it help to have that core group of a few defensemen and some forwards that obviously prevailed and won the gold medal last year, but just to help bring this team together in a short time this year?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, the experience is big in this tournament, and thankfully we have the same staff back, and like you said, a handful of returning guys. But the guys playing for the team this year are unbelievable. The first year guys, they're all very talented. All here for a reason. So it's kind of just meshing everyone together, doing everything we can just to become a team. As quickly as possible, and become close with each other as quickly as possible is what will hopefully prevail in the end. So.
Yeah, in terms of getting as close to each other and getting to know each other as quickly as possible, you've this past week you had to quarantine for a few days. You're now able to get on the ice. How has that process been in terms of growing in other ways because you haven't been able to be around each other as much?
Yeah, we've had team Zoom calls when we were in quarantine, just kind of getting to know each other, just talking, just trying to find as much light as we can. Obviously, being alone in the room for a while, it stinks, but it is what it is. And just now out of quarantine, it's just coming together, like I said, as quickly as possible. Just team meals, just trying to enjoy every second, get to know each other. Like I said, it's important, and I think that's the reason we came out winners last year, is just because of how close we were and how much of a team we were. So
Yeah, you absolutely have the recipe to success. One of the cool things about this tournament is you have an opportunity to play against fellow LA Kings draft picks. We'll have some on Russia, Finland, obviously, Sweden as well. What is that in the back of your mind when you go up against the teams, or is it just one of those extra factors in terms of bragging rights or however that may come into play?
Well, a little bit. It's kind of the same as last year, though. It's just more focused on the guys wearing the same jersey as me right now. So, yeah, no, I'm just obviously it's cool. It's really cool to have the fellow draft picks playing against them. But at the end of the day, it's I obviously want to win and we want to win. So we're focused on the guys in our locker room. But like I said, though, special for sure. Special having that opportunity.
Absolutely. Very, very mature answer in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had practice. We'll finish it up here with a little bit of whether it's word association or the first thing that comes to your mind, but we'll rack off the four teams in the Power Five that you played last year. And what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Team Sweden?
They're skilled. They're a very skilled team. Obviously, every time I played them, they obviously have tons of guys that are hard to defend. But it's just focusing on getting pucks behind them, just playing our game, using our speed, grit. I think that's what will allow us to be successful against them. So,
and then we'll go to the other one in Europe with Finland. Obviously, a little bit different type of team, but what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the Finns?
Gritty. They play a lot like us. They play a lot like us with their speed, their grit, the way they want to get pucks deep, things like that. So I'd say gritty is the word that sticks out for me with them.
And then in your last pool play game this year on New Year's Eve, you'll get Team Russia, a different type of team in terms of style. But what's the first thing that comes to your mind with Russians?
Rivalry. Those are the games. Those are
goes way back, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are the games you circle on the calendar that you dream about. So yeah, it gets me excited thinking about right now. But yeah, rivalry for sure.
And then we'll finish it off with obviously the team that you guys beat in the gold medal game last year. One that's obviously circled on every calendar when you play them. Not in your bracket this year, but definitely a team that has the potential to match up down the road with Team Canada.
Yeah, same thing. Rivalry. Obviously, last year we came out on top, and I'm thankful for that. But we're looking forward to this year. We're looking forward to hopefully play them, and it's always fun. It's always. I mean, that was the first time I'd ever played Team Canada, and it definitely lived up to the hype because it's special. It's very, very intense game, very exciting game, and it kind of flies by. You don't even realize it, but. Definitely a huge rivalry that is also, like you said, circled on the calendar for sure.
And then, the last thing here, I think an introduction of who Brock Faber is to LA Kings fans. The first time we got to really see it was in the World Juniors last year. Unfortunately, with the way the season this year didn't match up in terms of getting you out here for development camp. But for Kings fans who want to know, what type of player is Brock Faber, what's the answer?
Yeah, I'd say just a two-way defenseman. I obviously take pride in the defensive side of my game, shutting plays down, gapping, having a good stick, things like that. Obviously, I feel like I'm a good skater. I feel like I can make plays on the rush too, but I definitely say that the strength of my game is the defensive side of things. So,
well, Brock Faber, my fellow Minnesotan. Happy or merry early Christmas and best of luck in the World Juniors coming up.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.